The paper was still damp from the evening mist, taped firmly over the lock. Malik reached out, his fingers brushing the bold, printed text of the eviction notice. He did not pull it down. He simply stood there, watching the ink blur under the dim hallway light. He reached into his pocket and pulled out a crumpled envelope. Inside, the bills felt thin and light against his palm. $200. That was the sum of his current existence. He turned his back on the apartment and stepped out into the biting wind. The street was a corridor of shadows and blue-tinted concrete. His breath hung in the air, a thick white cloud that vanished as quickly as it formed. He walked toward the bus station, his boots scraping against the frozen pavement. Every step felt heavier than the last. The city around him was silent, indifferent to the fact that he no longer had a place to sleep. He kept his head down, clutching the envelope tight, and merged into the dark expanse of the terminal entrance. The terminal was nearly empty, save for a figure huddled against the far wall. A woman sat on the concrete, her back against the cold brick. She cradled a small bundle tucked deep inside a thin, threadbare blanket. Her eyes were fixed on the floor, blinking slowly. Malik slowed his pace, his boots clicking softly on the tiles. He stopped 10 feet away. He looked at the envelope in his hand, then back at the woman. Her shoulders trembled with every shallow breath. He looked at the station exit, then back at the shivering infant. His jaw tightened, muscles jumping beneath his skin. He took a long, sharp breath, stepped forward, and knelt. He did not speak. He simply pressed the crumpled envelope into her open palm. Her fingers closed around the paper. She looked up, her gaze locking onto his, and her chin quivered. A tear tracked through the dust on her cheek. She whispered a broken, "Thank you," that barely cleared the static of the station. Malik did not answer. He stood, turned, and walked back out into the dark, leaving the warmth of the station behind him. The city turned its back on him, but the days did not stop. Malik found a rhythm in the survival of the next hour. He moved through the crowded, dimly lit shelters, finding corners where the concrete was less damp. His hands grew calloused, mapped with small scars from years of heavy lifting and rough labor. He hauled crates in damp warehouses until his back ached in the silence of the pre-dawn hours. He shoveled debris until the dust settled into the deep lines around his eyes. He learned the weight of a wrench and the precise tension of a spring. He saved every coin that did not go toward bread or a shared room. Slowly, the frantic pace of the streets gave way to the steady hum of a workbench. A decade later, he unlocked the heavy steel door of his own shop. The space was small, smelling of grease and metal filings, but it was his. He stood by the counter, his hair thinning, his shoulders hunched from years of bending over broken things. He ran a thumb over a jagged scratch on his workbench, a physical reminder of a decade spent building a life from nothing. The shop bell rang, a sharp metallic sound that cut through the low hum of the radio. Malik wiped his grease-stained hands on a rag and looked up. A woman stood in the doorway. She held a leather portfolio, her posture straight, her gaze scanning the rows of tools. Their eyes met. The silence stretched, filled only by the ticking of a wall clock. Malik stiffened, his grip on the rag tightening. The woman stepped forward into the narrow aisle. She stopped at the counter, her breathing hitched, a jagged sound in the quiet space. She reached out, her fingers hovering over the workbench. "It was you," she whispered. That night at the station. The envelope. Malik stared at her, the years falling away as the memory took hold. She did not wait for a response. She opened the portfolio, pulled out a thick, cream-colored document, and smoothed it onto the scarred wood of the counter. It was a partnership contract. Her hands trembled as she pointed to the signature line. "That money bought the stability I needed to survive," she said. "You gave me a future. Now, I am here to offer you one." The weight of the paper seemed to shift the gravity of the room. Malik looked from the ink-black signatures to the woman standing before him. The shop felt different now. The smell of cold grease and metal filings seemed to recede, replaced by the warmth of the late afternoon sun filtering through the front window. A single drop of moisture traced the path of a deep wrinkle on his cheek. He did not speak. He simply reached out, his hand shaking slightly as he took a pen from the counter. He signed the document, the scratch of the nib loud in the sudden quiet of the shop. Sarah exhaled a long, steadying breath that seemed to lift the weight of 10 years from her shoulders. She reached across the counter, her fingers interlocking with his in a firm, calloused grip. The golden light caught the dust motes dancing in the air between them, bathing the cramped shop in a soft, amber glow. It was not just a business agreement. It was the closing of a circle that began on a freezing concrete floor a decade ago. He squeezed her hand once, a silent acknowledgement of the path they had both traveled. The shop fell into a profound stillness, held together by the weight of two lives finally finding common ground.